Jensen, Ronsek, and Molly. Meanwhile, Marquette is off to its best start in program history with 9 consecutive wins. And now the conference play starts, and we are underway. Glad you're with us tonight. And right to the basket on the drive is Lauren Jensen.
And
She
Lauren
averages
Jensen,
18.
not going to back down on that whatsoever. She just uses her body position, gets it high off the glass and in.
Mackenzie Hare, we highlighted at the outset. Inside, here's Hottinger. Good rejection inside from Mallory Brate. A 2-0 lead for Creighton. Each team had a road win on Sunday non-conference. That hits the side rim from Morgan Molly. And the point guard, Nkumu, coming back here for the Golden Eagles. Marquette averages 81 points per game. One of the best scoring teams in the country coming in, but empty on their first 2 possessions. And this is Mogensen who runs the point. From the top of the key is Jensen. Her 3-point shot has not been great thus far this year. Second opportunity, and they missed twice.
Yeah, Marquette got lucky there as there was a mismatch down in the post, but then Hottinger left Morgan Molly completely alone.
There's Liza Carlin. The senior center for Marquette comes in at 16 points a game.
When she makes defense honest, she loves shooting that 18-foot jump shot, but she also will get down into that post and make some nice moves.
Left wing 3, too strong that time for Emma Ronsek. She doesn't mind stepping out there to take those long jumpers. And again, they feed Carlin against a double team, and the foul is called. Liza Carlin didn't mind going up against 2 defenders.
You know, the last time down, she hits that jumper. This time down, she goes up with a strong post move and draws that foul against number 31, Emma Ronsek.
It's the first time that Creighton and Marquette have gotten together in women's basketball where each team has been nationally ranked. Last year, it was 2 pretty decisive wins for the Blue Jays over Marquette. Creighton won at home by 26, and they won in this building by 11 points.
And it doesn't surprise me that this is going to be a back-and-forth battle. I mean, they are so evenly matched up. It's really going to come down to who's going to own the boards and who's going to turn the ball over less.
Liza Carlin has all 4 for the Golden Eagles. 2 minutes in. That time, Ronsek faked the 3. And Mogensen takes it inside.
Yeah, Molly Mogensen, not really known to be a scorer on this squad. She does all the intangibles running that point, but she'll call her own number from time to time.
Carlin kicked it out that time. King, and now it is Nkumu finding Carlin. Pretty good look from the foul line, just couldn't hit it.
Yeah, she just left that short, and notice how many of the Golden Eagles got back on defense.
Emma Ronsek comes in averaging 17 and 6 rebounds per game. Mogensen that time, all the way to the basket, and Molly Mogensen, Farmington, Minnesota native, has scored on back-to-back trips.
Yeah, using that screen from Ronsek, but then she also does a stutter step, which makes her defense hesitate, and that gives her that clean lane to the hoop.
Only averages 6 points a game. She's almost there already. 2-point lead for Creighton. Marquette nearly turned it over. That was deflected. Nope, they're going to stay over and back. I think that's the right call. I don't think that that was tipped into the backcourt, and so it's a turnover. So good start on the road for Coach Jim Flannery and his team. 22nd season. He has been to 6 of the last 11 NCAA tournaments with this squad. That one just rolled off the rim inside there for Mogensen. Tried to score 3 times in a row.
And Marquette just not doing a good job boxing out right now, and they look really slow. They look a step slow, and Creighton is using that to their advantage. They're getting to the hoop, they're spreading the ball around, and they're taking second chance opportunities. Jensen
drive and kick for 3. And off the rim that time for Mogensen, so she missed twice on the possession. 6-4 game. Jordan King, 5-year senior. She's been through these Big East wars. And there's Hottinger, the Patriot League's Player of the Year a season ago at Lehigh.
And what a great addition she's been for Coach Megan Duffy after losing Chloe Murata to graduation. You needed somebody in there big to post up, but also to get you some rebounds.
Whistle on a travel that time against Morgan Molly, trying to back her way into the post. Megan Duffy in her 5th season on the bench at Marquette. Great player at Notre Dame in the professional ranks, and she's turned herself, Michelle, she's really turned herself into a great coach.
Oh yeah, you knew she had it in there as soon as she got hired here at Marquette, and she's really elevated Marquette women's basketball and taken it to a whole new level.
Carlin finding the new player in the game just off the bench to hit her first shot is Lee Volker, transfer from Duke, providing offense immediately to give Marquette the lead. Volker played a couple of years at Cameron Indoor at Duke before coming here to Marquette.
A lot of screening going on by Creighton that's giving Marquette a little mismatches here and there on defense. That time a great box out by Rose and Kumu.
And Ronsek nearly hit the shot. It spun all the way around the cylinder. Carlin from deep, showing the range. The senior Eliza Carlin, 7 early points. And a 5-point Marquette lead.
And that's a great thing if you're Coach Duffy to see Carlin hitting those shots, because a lot of times when she goes cold early, she has a hard time finding that rhythm in the game.
And when Marquette is shooting threes well, it is almost impossible to stop them. They are the 2nd best three-point shooting team in the country. That one off the mark. Lauren Jensen couldn't hit. The run continues here. 7 in a row for the Golden Eagles. Carlin again. She's been feeling it, but not that time.
Yeah, she just didn't elevate at the top of her jumper and reach that hand up and through and left the shot short.
Good look here for Jamie Horan.
Great ball movement to the top of the key. Horan, who was injured for many games last year, is another one of those seniors that really contributes to Flannery's game plan.
Neither of these teams is very deep. You don't need to go deep into the bench, as Carlin misses that time. You don't need to go that deep into the bench when you're starting pretty much all seniors, but Horan is a 4-year player who can really help for the Blue Jays. Just so much experience from each side. You also see Keani Lockett, sophomore, who's the backup point guard in for the Blue Jays. Horan tries it again. And that will bring us to our first timeout of the night. We figured that we'd see a lot of shots going in from the perimeter in this one, and we see it from some of the bigger players early on, including Liza Carlin stepping out. Marquette by 2.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change, to champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice.
To make an impact.
As Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
Mom! Yeah. So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh, warm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
with the support of a community behind you and beside you,
you can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light and shine it
for all the world to see. Whatever you do best, we'll help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
Creighton has gotten off to a 7-1 start to the season. They trail by 2 here in the opening quarter tonight of the Big East opener. But, you know, one of the things, Michelle, to note about Creighton, they've only played 3 home games. They have been excellent when they've gotten away from Omaha.
Yeah, and you know, that is down to the senior leadership and the job that Coach Flannery has done with the Blue Jays. And, you know, you should never be scared going into somebody else's house to play. You know, you should always treat every road game just like it's any other game, even if you're not at home.
Saw the bottom of that graphic, 3 wins against Power 6 opposition already away from home. They have beaten a couple of Big Ten teams, Nebraska and Michigan State. Had an ACC victory against Georgia Tech. They're not afraid, as you said, to take on all comers.
No, and that's a tough non-conference schedule. But again, that's the type of schedule you want when you have a team loaded with seniors. And as you mentioned, that 3-headed monster with Molly, Ronsek, and Jensen.
Skylar Forbes back up big in for Marquette. But there's Jordan King finally getting a shot off there. Jordan King, one of the all-time leading scorers in Marquette history. You pointed this out to me when we went to break. King and Hare had not taken a shot over the first about 6 minutes.
And that works so well into Creighton's favor. If you can keep the ball out of their 2 hands, it's going to be a lot easier to win.
That miss by Molly leaves her at 0 for 3, and the Blue Jays 4 for 14. Meanwhile, King getting it going. A couple back-to-back out of the timeout, and a timeout called here by the Blue Jays.
I mean, they're going to have to find a way to pick up Jordan King. I mean, you can't give her that space on the 3-point line. She'll take it, not a problem.
Here were the 2 buckets for the 5-year senior out of Rockton, Illinois. First going to the rim.
Yeah, no help side defense to cut her off whatsoever. And then just a really easy pass from Mackenzie Hare right into her shooter's pocket, and she just drains it. And like I said, once Jordan King starts feeling it, the opposing team is obviously calling a timeout and talking things over.
Over 1,500 career points for Jordan King. Oh, we told you how good Creighton's been away from their home in Omaha. Marquette, of its first 9 victories this season, 5 of them right here at the Al McGuire Center. And as you can see, they've dominated for the most part when they've been on this court.
Absolutely, and they've also dominated away from home as well. They won the Fort Myers tournament against Arkansas, and they blew Arkansas out of the water. It was probably one of the best all-around games I have seen the Golden Eagles play.
Jensen out of the timeout. So nice you can have a player like Lauren Jensen to go to when your offense is struggling a little bit, huh?
And that fadeaway jump shot looked way too easy for number 15.
That time the rebound by Mallory Brake. So up comes Mogensen. Had a couple of early buckets. The trailer is Brake. Shot clock still at 15 as Jensen works top of the key against the defensive Lee Volker. Mogensen trying to create herself. Got a screen. And Mogensen gets her 3rd basket of the opening quarter.
She's feeling it, that for sure. And Mogensen is not known to be a scorer at all. And as we mentioned, you know, Mogensen only averaging 6 points a game, and she's already over that.
Yep. Pull-up 3 from the top. Wow, they can all hit them. That's Mackenzie Hare. She's as good as anybody in the nation getting off that 3. Molly tries to answer. Maybe a quick shot there.
That great box out by Franny Hottinger.
6-point lead, the largest has been 7. Here is the freshman Skylar Forbes. Hottinger for 2.
Good spacing, good ball movement for Marquette. That's one thing that Coach Duffy harps on. We got to take care of the ball. We have to keep moving the ball and find the open shooters.
This is now the largest lead of the game at 8. And Creighton gets an offensive rebound. They are 6 of 19. Until that one goes down. They needed it.
Yeah, they were so focused. Marquette was on boxing out number 30, Morgan Molly, that they totally left Mogensen alone at the three-point line.
Had started 1 of 9 from 3. Mogensen with 9 points. And a defensive stop. Molly gets the rebound here for the Blue Jays. Final minute of the quarter. Too strong that time. The miss by beg your pardon. Missed by Jamie Horan. 20-second shot clock as it stays this way. 34 seconds remaining in the quarter. When we talked with Coach Flannery before this game, he said really a lot of the time you can tell the way our game's going to go by the first quarter alone. Their one loss this year against UW Green Bay, they had a rough first 10 minutes, and it's been a rough first 10 minutes here tonight.
Well, there's Rose Nkumu taking the charge. One thing I talked to you, Josh, about before the game even started was how that young lady has really elevated her play the last 4 years here. In the last 2 years, she's been so good at getting in the face of the opposing team's player and getting those charges.
About a 3-second game clock, shot clock differential. It is Nkumu. Right on cue, Rose Nkumu gets the lead back to 7. Final 5 seconds. Mogensen, who's been hot, passed it off. 1 second left. This would count. Back rim for Mogensen. And a 7-point lead for Marquette. A very good start for the home team in the conference opener.
The home court advantage is what they have, and they're really getting it done on both ends. Great scoring job there by Rose Nkumu.
Marquette Nation, it is time to turn your attention
to Saturday night. The biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Bam! Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big-time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays two-headed monster of Shireman and Coltbrell. That's why they like him. Alabama, Creighton. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox. Primetime Hoops.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
with the support of a community behind you and beside you,
you can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light
and shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best, we'll help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice. To make an impact. As Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right. And most importantly.
To be the change.
To be the change.
Mom! Yeah. So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Marquette by 7 after the first quarter in the Big East Conference opener for these two top 20 teams. It's a very balanced scoring team that Marquette has, a lot of firepower, and early on to get them to lead, it was their center, Liza Carlin, doing a lot of the work.
Yeah, and as soon as Liza went out and took a break, that's when Jordan King stepped it up, and she now has 5 points. But Marquette with 8 assists and hitting 56% from field goals. And for Creighton, they're just not spreading the ball, only 1 assist. They're making good looks, but they're just not falling, and they're only hitting 33% from two-point land.
56% field goal shooting for Marquette. That's what they do. Like Hare out of the corner. She's 2 for 2 from three-point range. Their stats are just astounding the way they shoot the ball, and nobody better than Mackenzie Hare. 58% on the season from long range. Mogensen has the answer.
Man,
She's already doubled her season's average.
She's got the hot hand. You know what? Let her shoot. But Marquette defensively has to get in her face. They just cannot give her that little step to get that shot off.
So the deficit trimmed back to 7 after it just went to double figures. And Kumu, drive and dish. And now here's the freshman Forbes. Skylar Forbes out of Canada. And she's made her presence felt.
What a strong move, taking it to the hole and then switching to go with that left hand. I cannot wait to see how she develops in her years here at Marquette.
Tough first quarter for Morgan Molly, and that continues at the start of the second. Offensive foul. Morgan Molly has not hit a shot, Michelle, and now she's got a foul.
Well, and she's really frustrated, and you saw that right there. I mean, she just clears out Claire Kayfes, who's been battling a little bit of injury, and this is only her 4th game that she's played in. But when Claire Kayfes is in there, she's a dynamic player and works so hard.
Meanwhile, Carlin hits the baseline jumper to get the lead to 11 for the first time. 9 points for Liza Carlin. Nifty move, no finish there from Lauren Jensen, though. And it's off of her hands. Going back to Marquette, a chance to extend this double-digit lead.
That was a sweet move by Jensen. She just couldn't finish. I mean, she had the identity and the mindset to step through away from that defender, and gotta make those shots when you're down 11 points on the road against Marquette.
Jensen now 2 for 5. Molly 0 for 4. Ronsek has only taken 2 shots travel against Marquette here. So that's the three-headed monster that Coach Flannery talks about, and none of them have really delivered thus far for Creighton. Meanwhile, Megan Duffy, she's got to be thrilled with the way this game has started.
Yeah, only 2 turnovers for Marquette, and they've been moving the ball really well, fighting through screens on defense, and holding Ronsek silent.
Molly trying again. Still nothing for Morgan Molly. 11-point Marquette lead. And a nice deflection by Molly, denying the entry pass for Carlin and gets the steal. Marquette gets it almost right back. Out of bounds, though. Good hustle there by Skylar Forbes, but she was on the sideline.
Well, and I was holding my breath a little bit when she reached around and poked that ball away. I'm like, you got to be careful, because officials love to call that reach for a foul, and what a play by the freshman.
Looking for some answers. Coach Flannery puts in Kennedy Townsend, a sophomore guard. Creighton shooting just 8 of 24. 5 of those 8 makes have come from Mogensen. Molly misses again. 0 for 6.
Well, and that was a great looking shot as she's got the mismatch with Rose and Kumu guarding her. I mean, there's like a 4-inch difference there, but you can tell that Molly is just frustrated.
And Kumu delivers the entry for Carlin. Faced the double and kicked it for Forbes. Now here's Hare. Shot clock at 6. King banks and misses. Good look for Jordan King, just couldn't hit it.
Yeah, and Skylar Forbes needs to finish that off and not make that dangerous pass back up to the top of the key.
Jensen finding Mogensen. Mogensen has over half of Creighton's points, and that's only backboard for Kennedy Townsend. Still an 11-point lead. 8 of 26 for the Blue Jays shooting. Carlin fading away, tough shot.
That was the right pass from Nkumu as she had a much shorter Kennedy Townsend on Liza Carlin. That advantage to the Golden Eagles. Carlin's just got to finish that off the glass.
Be a minute, 30-19 for a couple of minutes now. Jensen against Nkumu, good matchup. Now Carlin switches on to Jensen, who's able to hit from the foul line.
She's got such good ups and a beautiful shot. I mean, there's a reason why she's scoring right around 18 points a game. That'll be her 6th.
Yeah, and 16 at Wyoming in a win on Sunday on the road. Deficit cut to 9 as Forbes finding Carlin too strong. Morgan Molly stood her ground. Good defense.
Excellent defense there by really using that body and forcing Carlin to put up a bad shot.
Defense starting to pick it up for Creighton over the last couple of minutes, and now a defensive foul against Kumu trying to fight through a screen.
Well, Coach Flannery has to be really happy with those last couple of trips down the floor with his defense, because defensive stops turn into offense. And you'll see Rose and Kumu here just running through the screen of Morgan Molly.
Kiani Lockett running the point now, having come off the bench. Jamie Horan. And here's Ronsick. Good matchup here against Carlin. Ronsick to the fadeaway, but the foul was whistled.
Carlin got a piece. Yeah, she got it right on the hand. Carlin doesn't need to reach in with that hand. Go more perpendicular to the floor. Get that hand up in the sky. A high hand is harder to shoot over than an angled hand. An angled hand is going to get you a foul.
There is the first point of the night for the second leading scorer on the season for the Blue Jays, Emma Ronsick, coming off that 22-point game Sunday. Now she's got 2.
Go.
Feels like the momentum has shifted here the last few minutes.
It has, and that's with the defense. The defense of Creighton has really buckled down.
Almost 4 minutes holding Marquette without a point. Jensen got fouled trying to catch it. Non-shooting.
Well, Creighton is doing a great job also on offense. They're spreading the floor. They're running a motion offense with a lot of cutters, and that is keeping Marquette guessing and trying to figure out, do we fight through screens or do we switch through screens?
Lead is 7. It was 11 a few moments ago. Ronsick hits the 3. 7-0 run for the Blue Jays, and they are right back into this game.
Well, and that's not even one of Emma Ronsick's best offensive moves. I mean, she is more of a cutter and flasher rather than an outside shooter.
Whistle came there after the contact. It's going against Creighton. And so Marquette will inbound when we come back. It's been over 4 minutes since the Golden Eagles scored a point, and here is Emma Ronsick.
Just outstanding, just nails this to bring Creighton within 4.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh, warm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Mom! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
With the support of a community behind you. And beside you.
You can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
Well, Creighton has gotten back within 4 as Marquette has not scored in over 4 minutes. There is someone on that Blue Jays bench who knows a thing or two about playing some really good Big East basketball games, Jalen Agnew.
Well, and out of all of the most outstanding players in the Big East, especially from UConn, I mean, she was the Big East Player of the Year in 2020. Just a dynamic player. Great offense, ball handler, shooter, defense, just in your face, tough as nails.
She could still score a few points if she were out there tonight, huh?
Oh, yeah. She would still be playing professionally, but has decided for her personal life to, I think, get married or is getting married and wants to coach. And I think that's awesome. You know, she brings her love of Creighton to the bench and brings that youth that sometimes a coach that's been around for 22 years needs, you know?
Yeah.
I love Coach Flan, but sometimes he doesn't know the lingo.
I think relatability might be the best word.
Yeah, there you go.
Pottinger scored to end Marquette's drought, and unable to answer was Haran. So it's going back to the Golden Eagles. They had missed their previous 4 shots before the bucket by Franny Hottinger.
And Marquette still hitting, though, about 52% from the field.
Talked about how they're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation statistically. How about tonight? They haven't missed. 4 for 4 from long range. Carlin, beautiful move. Carlin in double figures. She's got 11.
Yeah, that underhand scoop with the left hand looked good.
4 in a row out of the timeout for the Golden Eagles. Senior point guard is Molly Mogensen. Ronsek tries again and hits again. Same spot, same result. Emma Ronsek.
Again, not what she's known for, but if you're going to give her that space, she's going to pop it.
Suddenly up to 8 points after back-to-back threes. Hottinger knocked away by Mogensen, and it's out of bounds off of Franny Hottinger. Great defense by Creighton.
That was a great backdoor cut by Hottinger. She just couldn't hang on to that ball after it was stripped away.
Big East coming into the conference schedule that begins with this one. 3 teams in the top 20 of the national polls, and these are 2 of them. Creighton 20th, Marquette 19th. Molly finally able to get on the board. Morgan Molly had been 0 for 6, and we've got a 3-point game.
Well, that's what seniors do. They don't panic. And that's one thing Coach Flannery talked about is my team doesn't panic. They're going to have their ups and downs, but they're going to work through those downs, and they're going to make teams pay when they make mistakes.
5 in a row now for the Blue Jays. Carlin trying to respond off the dribble to the basket. Carlin, what a half she's having.
Yeah, again, using her body to keep that space between her and Ronsek, and only Carlin able to kiss it off that glass, as pretty as that was.
Approaching 2 minutes to go in the opening half. Largest lead has been 11 for the Golden Eagles. Molly again, and she's got 2 in a row. What a fadeaway left-handed shot from the baseline.
She had a rough first quarter, but figured it out, made the adjustments, and she's gotten Creighton back within 3.
It's the first 3-point miss of the game for the Golden Eagles. Suddenly, the Blue Jays have a chance to tie this up if Molly hits this 3. Almost. Carlin grabbed the rebound here. 90 seconds to go in the half.
Intensity of Creighton's defense has really stepped it up. Cutting off all those backdoor cutters, fighting through the screens. Marquette's going to have to figure out how they're going to get to score here.
Hottinger up and under, missed the shot. Everything but there for Franny Hottinger. Mogensen kicks it. 3-pointer Ronsek. She's got her 3rd in the last few minutes. Tie game, timeout Marquette.
And that's real easy. Set a ball screen, flare off that screen, get open, catch it in your shooter's pocket, go up in one rhythm. Marquette's got to find a better way to defend this screen. I mean, it wasn't even a screen. It was just a slide through by Ronsick. Now that I take a look at it again.
Ronsick hadn't scored in the first quarter, and all of a sudden she scored 11 points here in the second, including 3 3-point makes.
Well, and I was really worried because I chose her as the player to feature in the Open, and I'm just like, come on, Emma, you cannot make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about.
She has stepped it up. Sioux Falls, South Dakota native. And one of the best in the Big East. Creighton has made up an 11-point deficit to tie this thing up.
You know, and it was Molly Mogensen who had the hot hand in that first quarter and really kept Creighton in. And Mogensen had 6 points in that first quarter. Now she's up to 12, still leading Creighton. But Ronsick with a quick 11.
Got a 2-for-1 here if they take a quick shot, which I would imagine Coach Duffy discussed during the timeout. We'll see how quickly they decide to shoot.
Usually you go on 10.
Volker back in, kicked it over, and Carlin couldn't hit. Good look for Liza Carlin on the baseline.
Still flat on that shot, though. She's got to really get that thing up in the air, reach high with that hand. Give it a chance to hit the rim and possibly get a bounce in.
Now there's a 7-second game clock, shot clock differential as Creighton looks to get the lead right before halftime.
High post set here, looking for the backdoor cuts.
And why not for Ronsick? Almost. And we're going to have a foul going over the back that time was Mallory Brake. Non-shooting foul, neither team in the bonus. And 8 seconds left for Marquette.
Yeah, Creighton's going to put on full court pressure here, which is a smart idea. Make this 7 seconds hard.
And Kumu kicks it back. Deep one, Carlin. And we've got a tie game at halftime at the Al McGuire Center. First quarter belonged to the Golden Eagles, the second to the Blue Jays, and it's even Steven at halftime, 36-36.
Mom! Shyla?
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Saturday night, the biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Bam! Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays two-headed monster of Shireman and Coltbreth. That's why they like him. Alabama, Creighton. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
With the support of a community behind you. And beside you.
You can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
Tie score at halftime in the Big East opener between 20th-ranked Creighton and 19th-ranked Marquette. Hey, folks, you can join Megan Caffrey with Kim Adams, Isis Young, and Lisa Carlin as they take you inside the Big East Women's Basketball Conference each week on In the Bonus, the podcast. This week's special guest is Providence forward Olivia Olson. Find In the Bonus wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And speaking of In the Bonus, send it over to Kim Adams and check out this week's version.
In terms of the Big East, kind of a two-pronged answer here. I think it was a great week for UConn. We know that they have been going through it, battling the ups and downs, different injury news, players in and out. But I thought they had a really successful 2-0 week. They played against Ball State, which was a cool game because Nika Mule's sister was on the team. What stands out to me about that game, really it seems that the chemistry is growing in terms of they know they have players that are not going to be with them, whether it's for a short amount of time, the full season in the case of AZ Fudd. I'm starting to see more chemistry come from the UConn Huskies, and that includes the depth of players coming off the bench. So in the Ball State game, they had 5 players in double figures. As a team, they shot 59% from the field, and that was a 90-63 win. And Ball State, the only losses they have are against UConn and Notre Dame. So that is a solid Ball State team. And then UConn turned around just a couple days ago and beat a top 25 team in North Carolina. It was a little bit of a shaky, tight first half, and then they really looked good in that second half. Paige was incredible, 26 points, 11 of 14 shooting. And then we're seeing kind of a reawakening of Aaliyah Edwards, I think. We had mentioned the couple games she had down in, I believe it was the Cayman Islands. She didn't have a great tournament down there. I had a feeling that Gino was challenging her to bring more. So she had a double-double in that UNC win, 16 points, 11 rebounds. So I think it was a great week for UConn. I think that UNC game could have kind of been a make or break moment, as much as you don't want to put too much pressure on one game, especially early in the season. But just how things have gone for them, I think that win is going to take them far. So then just kind of looking at the top tier of the Big East, which I'm considering the 3 teams that are ranked, starting with UConn at 17, Marquette at 19. They are still 9-0. They had an impressive road win. They had to kind of eke one out at Illinois State. They had to pray a little bit. Illinois State had a wide open 3 at the buzzer that would have given Marquette their first loss of the season. Sometimes you just need a little magic in the air. So they win that one. They're at 19 in the poll. And then Creighton, they move up a couple spots. They had a tough road game. They won at Wyoming. They are now 7-1. They've been cruising the last couple weeks. So I'm really liking how this top tier of the Big East is looking right now. You have 3 teams in the top 20. UConn looks like they're starting to figure things out a little bit. And Marquette and Creighton have really just been dominant. And that is setting up for what is a tremendous Big East opener. If you're watching this on Wednesday when it drops, the game is tonight. We have the Big East Conference opener, which also happens to be a top 20 showdown. Creighton visiting Marquette, and we're going to throw it to Ice here to give us a little bit of a deep dive on what we can expect in this big-time matchup.
Oh, I love this for the Big East. I love this. This is the first time since 2012-2013 season that the Big East has 3 teams that are in the top 20. It is just honestly strengthening the rest of the conference to get better and the conference to grow as a whole. So I'm excited for this matchup. And this matchup features 2 teams that have been tested in the regular season and are doing well. We talked about Marquette, 9-0. They've been soaring. Like, the Eagles have been soaring. I feel like they look like a well-oiled machine. There's no worries. 4 players that average double figures, 1 player that averages 9.5 points per game. I mean, their starting 5 has been very solid. They're a team where you have to guard all 5 in order to win the game. And then on the other side for Creighton, I mean, it's the big 3. Like, I feel like there's no bigger 3 that we know of right now than this big 3. And Lauren Jensen, Emma Ronstick, and Morgan Molly. Those 3 guys combined for 51 points per game.
Amazing.
Like, 3 players combined for 51 points per game. So in logic, you really think if we just stop one and let the other two do what they do, fine. But it's not going to work because that's happened before. Teams have decided like, oh, we're just going to key on Morgan Molly, and then Emma Ronsick will have a double-double and Lauren Jensen will drop 30, and then you'll still lose the game. So here's what I'm going to say in terms of keys, like for both teams. For Creighton, it's all about defense. We know that they can score at a high clip, but they have to make sure that they can defend. They have to limit penetration in the paint. Good things happen for the Golden Eagles when they get the ball in the paint and they can play inside out. So for me, for Creighton, it's like your defense has to travel right now. It's conference play. Your defense has to travel right now. Mm-hmm. And on the other side for Marquette, continue to get good shot selection offensively and take care of the ball. And then defensively, like own the boards. If they can make sure that Creighton is one and done and they can really command the paint, they'll be able to score in transition. Their game will flow because they have control of the tempo. That's really what Megan Duffy's teams do so well. They control the tempo. They get you to play their way. I'm so excited. I feel like it's two of the best calculated teams, two of the best coaches in this conference. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm a couple just things to add on. I'm very intrigued by like the individual matchups in this game. I'm intrigued to see how Marquette defends Morgan Molly specifically, just because she has the ability to be an inside out player. She's really come into using her size inside, but I want to know if Liza Carlin is going to be matched up with her, because Liza Carlin brings probably even a little bit more size. I think Liza's 6'2", another player that could go inside out. So if those two end up being matched up together, I'm looking forward to that. And then you really, when you're playing Marquette now, like defending Mackenzie Hare on the 3-point line is a huge focus of what you have to do. And that's not really something that teams have had to really key in on against Marquette in the last couple of years. Mackenzie had a really nice freshman year, but she has grown leaps and bounds. I forgot to look at the updated numbers, but at our podcast last week, she was leading the nation in percentage. Ice, it looks like you may have the latest numbers here.
I just know she's knocked down 35 triples on the season, which is almost at 4 a game.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
up there.
Problem. She's up there with the national leaders. So that is a huge focus for anyone defending Marquette. And then just as you mentioned, I was like, the depth is very fascinating because it seems like Marquette has a little bit more scoring depth. But if you have like multiple players on Creighton that can get you 30, it kind of balances things out. So this is maybe the matchup in the Big East I'm most looking forward to this season, Creighton and Marquette, and we are getting treated to it on opening night of Big East play.
Always interesting to hear what they think about a matchup like this before it happens, and now we've seen a half, and it's 36-36. Thank you, ladies. That was a little peek at the in the bonus. Let's take a look at Around the Big East presented by Invesco QQQ. That game between Northwestern and DePaul is lopsided at halftime, and later on, Creighton and UNLV on the men's side. That one is going to get underway in about 10 minutes out in Vegas. 36-36 the score. Everything we really could have hoped for in this matchup has played out. When we come back, stats and highlights, and we get you ready for the third quarter right after this.
Mom! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Saturday night, The biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Bam! Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays two-headed monster of Shireman and Coltbreth. That's why they like him. Alabama, Creighton. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
with the support of a community behind you and beside you,
you can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
Big East women's basketball is brought to you by Invesco QQQ, official ETF of the Big East Conference. Tie game as we get ready for the second half in the Big East opener. 20th ranked Creighton and 19th ranked Marquette. 36-36. Along with Michelle Griffin-Wenzel, I'm Josh Maurer. That was an interesting first half because, Michelle, you had dominance from Marquette in the first quarter. They got off to a great start. But it was Molly Mogensen who kept Creighton afloat.
Yeah, and you don't expect the point guard to be leading your team with 12 points at halftime. I mean, she was getting it done from the outside and getting in there for rebounds and then draining this three-point shot as well.
She scored 12 early. Then it would be Emma Ronsick who scored 11 in the second quarter. Meanwhile, to build the lead, it was Liza Carlin early and often.
And she got off to a hot start. I mean, she hit her first 3 shots, and you knew things were going to go well for Marquette, especially when Mackenzie Hare and Jordan King went almost 7 minutes without a shot. And those are Marquette's 2 top scorers on the season.
Marquette got off to that red-hot start. They cooled off towards the end of that second quarter when the comeback started for the Blue Jays. You take a look at the overall halftime stats, but it went from an 11-point Marquette lead to this tie score in large because of this. Look at that, 8 for 26, and then they made 6 of their last 9.
Well, that's what senior-led teams do. I mean, they don't panic, and they don't let the ball keep rolling down the hill. They stop it, and they push it back up. And that was led by Emma Ronsick. I mean, she hit 3 huge three-pointers that really cut that deficit.
Meanwhile, for the Golden Eagles, they were red hot at the beginning, starting with Carlin. Made 12 of their first 19 from the field. But there, as you can see, Michelle, it cooled off, and 3 of their last 13 is all that they were able to make, and thus we got a tie score.
But statistically, I mean, they have 12 assists, and they own the points in the paint, 16-6. And that's one thing that Marquette needs to do is get that ball spread around the horn, dump it inside, and let Honninger and Liza Carlin get the work done in the paint.
Underway in the second half. And how about that start for Liza Carlin? The rejection inside on Ronsick. Hare swings it out, and Kumu to the top, and Carlin finds Hottinger.
Yeah, Franny's got to square her shoulders up to that basket. That's why it was off to the left.
Nice play inside, but Mogensen could not hit the scoop.
Yeah, Mogensen was just a little off balance there, was going a little bit too fast.
Boy, and Hare almost got that to bounce in. She's going to get 3 free throws. You have to challenge her. It's almost like you don't even, if you're Coach Flannery, you don't mind that. You never want to foul a three-point shooter, but you know you got to challenge Hare anytime she shoots.
Well, and she just catches that ball in rhythm, has such a quick release on it. But the one thing that Kenzie Hare needs to improve on really is her free throw shooting. As good of a long-range shooter she is, she's only hitting 75% of her free throws coming into today.
Got the first 2 of these 3. The stats are startling. 58% from three-point range for the season. That's 3rd best in the country among qualifiers. The last 3 games before tonight, she was 13 of 18. 13 of 18 on threes.
I call her the shot doc. I mean, if they need a little bit of medicine, she's the shot doc. Just give her a call.
There are a lot of players that won't make 13 of 18 on layups.
No.
She makes them on threes.
Crafty move by Emma Ronsick going up against a much shorter Rose and Kumu.
3 free throws for Hare, and Ronsick picks up where she left off. That time, Hare is going to the line on a drive. Mallory Brake thought that she had that clean.
And Mallory Brake really pushed that possession by Hare out and reached back in at the last minute. We'll see where they called this. Oh yeah, they hit her. Brake hit her right on the right hand when she was releasing the ball.
Well, after hitting 3 free throws just a moment earlier, there's the miss by Hare.
When free throws it's the same shot every time. You just have to stay within yourself, take a deep breath, hit the same shot every time.
And not bad, 4 out of 5 here at the start of the half. 2-point lead, Marquette. They're 9-0. Creighton coming in 7-1. A couple of top 20 teams matched up in the Big East opener. Brake had it blocked by Hottinger, out of bounds though.
Great defense by Hottinger. She gave up that baseline but kept her body in space to get that block.
12 on the shot clock here. You take a look at that block. We're back to live action. And here's Morgan Molly. She's had a tough shooting night. Molly is now 2 out of 9.
But she hit a couple key baskets in that second quarter that brought Creighton back. But like you said, Josh, I mean, she was cold to start the game.
Ronsick turned it over. Carlin got her hands on the pass, and Nkumu a breakaway.
Very uncharacteristic turnover by Ronsick. She's not known for being that person that's going to give up the easy turnovers.
Get back up by 4, just over 2 minutes into the third. A foul against Creighton. Against Marquette, I beg your pardon. This was that turnover.
Yeah, that's just being lazy. I mean, you're telegraphing the pass up top. You got to get Carlin to drop her hands down and then fire that ball over the top. And that last foul was on Jordan King. That's her first.
Jensen, quick trigger. Wow.
Sweet. Just a sweet shot from number 15.
Lauren Jensen, whose three-point shot has been below 30% this season on average. You wouldn't have known it by watching that release. King slipping to the left block. Carlin lets it fly.
Again, she's just releasing that shot a little short. She's got to bring it up a little higher and elevate through.
Creighton an opportunity to get the lead. Remember, they trailed by 11 points in the second quarter. Jensen. Great. Good entry. Ronsick on her way to the foul line. Almost a chance at a three-point play.
Excellent pass in there and good body movement and footwork by Emma Ronsick. You don't see a lot of post-ups by Creighton because they are such a guard-heavy team. But that was textbook Emma Ronsick.
Yeah, if anybody of those 5 seniors is going to do it, it'd be Ronsick.
That 6'1" height advantage against the smaller guards of Marquette.
14 points now for Ronsick. Make it 15. Remember, she didn't score a single point in the first quarter. Now she leads everybody, and Creighton has the lead. 3 minutes into the second half. Carlin, backdoor. King was blocked out of bounds.
That was a great backdoor cut. The pass was a little bit late because by the time Jordan King caught it, she was almost underneath the basket, and it was tipped out of bounds by Mogensen.
Off the bench is Skylar Forbes playing on the interior here for Coach Duffy. Shot clock is at 7. Good job by Mogensen. She was all over Hare. Carlin trying to create at the end of the shot clock.
Creighton doing a good job of challenging the shot. and really keeping Jordan King out of any sort of offensive rhythm. King only 5 points.
King now 2 for 9. How about that from Jensen off the dribble, and Creighton leads this game by 3.
Yeah, the reverse with the left-hand scoop. That's one of those things that you practice and practice at the end. See what fun moves you can make, and that was really fun.
7-0 run. Ends with that from King in the paint. That's a 5-year senior giving them a basket they needed.
But it took the words right out of my mouth. She's going to battle and work hard to bring this team back within 1.
For the most part, we've had a pretty whistle-free game. Free-flowing, I would say.
Yeah, they're really letting them play.
A little short for Ronsek. Tried to chase or miss. But there's the freshman Forbes on the defensive glass. Nkumu, she was bodied and fouled. Kennedy Townsend on the personal, and Nkumu going to the line.
And that's one part of Rose's game that has improved so much, is her ability to get downhill to that rim, and put up a good shot. Freshman, sophomore year, she was a little hesitant, and she's really turned it on the last 2 years and played incredibly well in that Fort Myers tournament right around Thanksgiving time, and was actually the MVP of the tournament.
They beat Boston College, and then they beat Arkansas to win that Fort Myers tip-off. And as you said, most valuable player was this Iowa City native. I know you got a little special spot in your heart for Iowa Cityans.
Yeah, absolutely. If she's not going to go play at Iowa, then come play for Coach Duffy at Marquette.
Marquette back in front. Riding a seesaw early here.
Great matchup, Jensen against Nkumu. Great defense by number 3 in yellow.
And the rebound by Forbes. Marquette with a 1-point lead in possession. Halfway through this third quarter. Nkumu and Jensen matched up on this end.
Remember, you got King and Carlin on the bench, so really only 2 scorers out there. Marquette's going to have to rely on a couple of their bench players to make some points here.
Duke transfer Lee Volker, who could not hit. Keani Lockett, backup point guard in for Creighton. Ronsek in the post against Hottinger, spins left and fades and scores. What a move.
And that's all length. I mean, Emma Ronsek, 6'1", long levers. Time and time again, you give her that space, she's going to hit a turnaround jumper.
Game high 17 for Ronsek. She's right at her season's average. Hare. Drive and dish. Hottinger. Yes. That's a 2.
Much needed shot there by Hottinger off a great feed from Kenzie Hare.
Marquette has scored 6 of the last 8. Back and forth we go. Ronsek again. She's feeling it. Not that time, though.
Oh, boy. What are you doing? You got to make sure your player is open.
Ronsek, end of the foul. It'll count. Skylar Forbes tried to throw an outlet pass, but Hottinger wasn't looking for it.
That's a freshman mistake. Mental mistake there. This is a good timeout.
It has been a lot of Emma Ronsek. The fadeaway, and then Hottinger. But Creighton's up by 1.
Saturday night, the biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays two-headed monster of Shireman and Coltbrell. That's why they like him. Alabama, Creighton. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
with the support of a community behind you and beside you,
you can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
To be the change.
to be the change.
Mom! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
Creighton up 1, and at the free throw line is senior Emma Ronsick, who has helped turn this game around. Marquette had an 11-point lead in the second quarter. Ronsick didn't score a single point at that juncture, but all of a sudden now she's got 19.
Well, it's like putting gasoline on a fire. I mean, she just exploded and has really taken the game over in her hands.
Let's go back to this last sequence. They actually get the stop on the miss by Ronsick, but watch this freshman mistake.
I mean, her brain and her body were not in system. I mean, she wanted to go fast break, but Honninger is not the person to give that ball to. You got to secure the ball. You got to look for your outlet to Nkumu or Hare, and then get that ball going.
But looking for her 20th point. She's got it. She scored 20 points in, what, about 13, 14 minutes?
Yeah, we have a whole entire fourth quarter to go.
2-point lead.
Marquette's got to find a way to make her shots a lot more difficult.
Liza Carlin, drive and dish. Hottinger got fouled.
She got destroyed.
I was going to say, they left little doubt about the whistle on that one.
I mean, she just got run over by a Mack truck and fell into the laps of the cheerleaders. Well, actually, it looked like she got tripped up, and then Jensen tripped up as well.
Keani Lockett was the one who hit her first. They called Jensen on the foul because, well, I don't blame the official for thinking Jensen was the one who committed the personal.
Right, because it looked like she did. But free throws are going to win ball games, and you got to start hitting these free throws, and that's 2 missed right there.
And a tie-up is going to keep it with Marquette, though. Good work by Carlin.
Carlin bailed him out there. I mean, Hottinger has to hit those 2 free throws. Marquette right now, 8 for 11 from the free throw line.
And Kumu to inbound with a 20-second shot clock.
And Jordan King's got to start working her magic. 7 points is not enough for number 23.
Volker for Nkumu. Nice pass. Carlin. Nkumu, the point guard, set that up perfectly.
Oh, beautiful. Drive into the paint with the left, switching it, crossover, bounce pass. Carlin had all the body control there, and that's a charge.
That's the decision, it appears. The officials are pointing at one another, but it is indeed on Lauren Jensen, offensive foul.
And that's 2 charges that Nkumu has taken tonight, 2. I think she deserves some ice cream. Nice big smile there from number 3. But watch this pass. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, she disguised it as she was going to pass it out to the perimeter and brought it back across and into Carlin.
Again, Carlin, 2 in a row. Liza Carlin. And now it's Marquette back in front.
Big-time players find ways to get the job done. And Kumu on defense, Carlin on offense.
17 for the senior Liza Carlin. Keani Lockett tries her luck at a 3, and it was too strong out of the corner. And Kumu tried to find Hottinger. Good job on the interior by Lockett to knock that one free.
Lockett's been playing some great defense, not only on Mackenzie Hare when they've had that matchup, but banging around with Hottinger on the inside.
And there's Mogensen's first point since the first quarter, her 14th of the game.
She's just a workhorse. Does all of the intangibles well for Coach Flannery.
Talked about it early. She only averages 6 points a game. She went over her season average in about the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, she was the only one on Creighton that was scoring. Everybody else was missing.
Oh, great offense. Just couldn't finish with King. That's the look she wanted.
And Jordan's got to keep going after that. Continue to create her shots because she can be a difference maker just like Ronsick is for the Blue Jays.
Jensen off the dribble. Got a 17-foot miss, rebounded by Jordan King. Tie score, Lee Volker right to the rack for her second bucket off the bench.
Explosive to the rim, soft kiss off the glass. Nice job in number one.
1 minute remaining here in this third quarter. We were tied at halftime, and it's been close ever since. 2-point lead for the Golden Eagles. Ronsick gave it up that time. Jensen. Nice delivery back for Ronsick. Count it. 22 for Ronsick and a free throw.
And that's just a classic pick and roll. I mean, King and Carlin got confused. They didn't communicate well enough as to who was going to roll with Ronsick. You can see King totally lost number 21, and Hottinger was too late coming over to get the stop.
In the last 2 quarters, Emma Ronsick has scored 22 points.
Yeah, it looks like Morgan Molly may have some blood on her hand. The official is telling her to head over to the bench.
Molly is only 2 of 10 on shooting from the field here in this game. Yep, got to clean that up. Get out the disinfectant. Looks like a right thumb.
Yeah, a little hangnail or something. You know, sometimes basketball players have fingernails that are longer than really I think what they should be, and sometimes they'll just get a fingernail on the hand, and that actually really hurts.
Ronsick, another old-fashioned three-point play. She's had a couple of those here in the last few minutes. 1-point lead, Creighton.
Marquette's just got to continue to move the ball, get their spacing, and look for a good shot.
There, gave it up, Volker. Now Carlin steps into the middle for the fadeaway. So the Blue Jays have it with the shot clock turned off and the final 15 seconds of the third.
It's a huge stop here for Marquette. They've got to get the stop. For Creighton, you want to go into the fourth quarter with that lead.
It's Jensen. Game clock at 2. Jensen almost made that. That was a tough shot. Almost went in. As it is, Creighton outscores Marquette by 1 in the third quarter, and they lead by 1 going into the fourth. I know you're not going anywhere. Final 10 minutes coming up next at the Al McGuire Center.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Mom! Sorry, I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
With the support of a community behind you. And beside you.
You can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
Pair of top 20 teams opening up Big East play tonight in Milwaukee. 20th ranked Creighton with a 1-point lead over undefeated and 19th ranked Marquette. Hope you're enjoying this one here on the Big East Digital Network on Flow Sports. Let's go around the Big East. This is the first conference game of the season, and there are 3 teams ranked in the top 20. UConn, thanks to Paige Beckers, Michelle, they're back in there at 17.
Yeah, but UConn's still fighting the injury bug. And if you would have told me UConn would have been ranked number 17 this early in the season, I would have been like, you're nuts. UConn's usually a top 5, top 6 team.
Marquette, as you can see, one of the few remaining undefeateds in the country. That's on the line here in the 4th. What a drive that time by Molly Mogensen, who's having one of the best scoring days of her career.
Well, and nobody stopped number 21. She just hesitated, changed speeds a little bit, and just kept driving right to the rim. Marquette needs to step up on defense, and they need to start creating better looks on offense.
Mogensen with 16. Liza Carlin with 5 to shoot. Rose Nkumu got to get it off, and Nkumu fades and scores.
The rim was her friend on that one. That's what seniors are going to do. Put the ball in your hands, don't panic, and make a good shot.
She's 3 of 4, 8 points, and Nkumu, one of the leading field goal percentage shooters in the nation.
Liza Carlin right now battling inside with Emma Ronsick.
Oh, what a shot. Falling to the ground left-handed, and 25 for Emma Ronsick.
And that's where those long levers come in, that 6'1" height and those arms. She's working hard.
Ronsick now 8 of 14.
The defense from Creighton has really stepped it up, and Marquette's not getting any good looks whatsoever.
Carlin from outside the foul line, showing some range. Liza Carlin now with 19.
And great move by Kenzie Hare to drive into that paint, find the open shooter. Marquette's got to do that more. If their screen offense isn't working, drive and dish.
Two of the best scoring teams in the Big East non-conference. For a while, this was being played at a lower offensive clip than either side was accustomed to, but now you're starting to see the offenses really click.
Well, and that's because they're getting defensive stops. Defense always turns into offense. And look at that. She shields off Liza Carlin with that right hand, and Ronsick just kisses it off the glass. Beautiful move.
Left-handed shot, too.
So good.
Here she is on the perimeter here, leading by a point. Break had that slip off her hands, but saved. Ball in the hands of Jensen, I'm sorry.
And whoever's guarding Break can give a little bit of space and a little bit more help on defense.
That was halfway in for Lauren Jensen, but Marquette, with Carlin, a chance to get the lead back.
Spacing and ball movement. That's what Marquette needs to do right now.
Ottinger looks inside,
nice
delivers
space.
the pass. King.
Yeah, she had Mogensen on her hip, squared open her shoulders, gave that passing target, and Jordan King's got to step it up right now and really take Marquette to the end.
9 points for King. Marquette leads by a point. Ottinger was playing off a break, as you said. She threw to Mogensen, and Mogensen delivers another big shot.
You gotta cover up those shooters. Kenzie Hare has to get into Mogensen's face. I mean, she's having probably one of the best shooting games she's ever had in a Blue Jays uniform.
That's her third made three. And the answer is not there, but Hottinger chases it down. Then a fresh 20.
Well, that's one thing I love about Franny is she has really come in and been a presence in aggressiveness and rebounding, and tonight she's got 8 points.
And that pass finds Carlin Hottinger. First she got the rebound and then she got the assist.
What an excellent dive there by Carlin. I mean, the bigs are going at it. Ronsick with 25, Carlin with 21. Kenzie Hare has a very quiet 10 points. She has not taken a shot yet in this quarter. In most of the third quarter, she didn't get a shot up.
And Molly continues to struggle tonight. Carlin, the rebounds. 2 of 11.
Creighton's got to get the ball to Ronsick and Mogensen. Those are the two hot hands right now.
Foul called. Mogensen reaching in on Hottinger.
Duffy, oh my gosh, Coach Megan Duffy was so funny. She's going over to the official about to call the timeout because she thought the players had a jump ball, and then the official called the foul, and Megan's like, oh, yep, nope, didn't call the timeout, nope. That was just classic.
She said, you had that all the way. Talking to the officials. Just over 4 minutes into the fourth. Tie score, Carlin.
No, don't force that pass, Liza. You had Rose on the top. Swing it around.
Molly knocked it free. Mogensen kicks it. And Jensen could not hit from three-point range.
Good job clearing the boards, Hottinger. That's her job when she's in there. Get rebounds.
Tie score just about midway through the final quarter here in Milwaukee. That's a tough one and a foul called. Oh, Mackenzie Hare was fouled on a three-point shot for the second time in this half.
Well, and Franny Hottinger put it in rhythm with the movement of Hare. Watch her in that movement. Actually, she had to corral it a little bit because her shot is so fast.
And again, you got to challenge her.
Yeah.
When you shoot it as well as Hare does, you need to get out on that shot.
This is one area of her game that she needs to continue to work on. Free throws are very mental, especially when you're tired. You got to use your legs in your shot. But there's also a difference between challenging and stopping versus challenging and following through and fouling a three-point shooter. And she makes 2 out of 3. Marquette up 2.
6 of 8 at the line for Mackenzie Hare. They've all been attempted in the second half. Back and forth we go. Now 4 in a row for Marquette. 5 minutes to go.
Carlin and Ronsick really fighting.
That was a tough one for Ronsick.
And there's Hottinger again cleaning up the boards.
King lobs inside and over the head of Carlin. That ends up being a turnover.
Not a smart pass by King.
Mogensen. Trailing by 2, 4.5 to go. Jensen takes it to the baseline, and we're tied. Lauren Jensen now with 13.
Man, she can sure stop on a dime, go straight up, and hit that jumper. She is incredibly athletic. Very quiet, though, in this third and fourth quarter.
Decently long stretch here between whistles. Carlin blocked by Molly, but it's out of bounds off of Creighton. And now we get the belated under 5 officials timeout. Lauren Jensen able to tie this thing up as we get to our last media timeout.
Watch her just stop, square, and pop. Beautiful.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice. to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
To be the change.
to be the change.
Mom!
So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
With the support of a community behind you and beside you.
You can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
All tied. Just about 4 minutes remain in this Big East opener. A couple of top 20 teams at the Al McGuire Center. Back and forth they've gone. You take a look at this Big East preseason poll. Coming in, UConn, of course, favored again, although AZ Fudd being out may change their calculus moving forward. These were the next two, Creighton and Marquette, and they have shown us no reason to believe otherwise that they can't compete for the championship.
Right, and they're senior-led teams, a ton of experience. UConn right now is starting two true freshmen in KK Arnold and Ashlyn Shade, and that doesn't happen usually with a Gino Oriyama coach team.
Shot clock is under 10. Hare put it on the floor and finished.
And that's what I was talking about in the open. Mackenzie Hare is more than just a shooter. She's had to step up her game, take it to the rim, and hit some short jumpers.
Got the last 4 Marquette points. Golden Eagles lead by 2.
Great closeout by Liza Carlin on Ronsick.
Mogensen, shot clock under 10. Backup guard Kennedy Townsend got it in for Ronsick. And the foul is whistled.
That was a late foul. Jordan King came in there and stopped Ronsick. Ronsick, a very good free throw shooter. She's at 84% coming into tonight. Yeah, and I think you call no foul there. I don't think there was enough contact at all. I mean, the officials have been letting them play this whole game. Let them battle that out down the stretch.
Kennedy Townsend is the one who delivered that entry pass to Ronsick that set up that opportunity, and it ties the game ultimately. 27 for the senior Ronsick.
You had to put that pass in there because Ronsick was on Mackenzie Hare, or Kenzie Hare was on Emma Ronsick, and Ronsick's got the hot hand.
Harlan dishes. Huttinger on her way to the hoop. Pivots back left. She had a shot that she'd love to have back. Great look for Franny Huttinger, just couldn't hit it. And an unforced turnover on the senior Mogensen. How about that?
You know, with 3 minutes to go in the game, that might just be a changer here for Marquette, especially if they can hit a good shot.
Watch this for Molly Mogensen, a mistake that she rarely makes.
Yeah, again, the brain going faster than the body. You know, you're thinking a step ahead, but you're not there yet with your body.
3 minutes to go. Jensen knocked it away, but Huttinger from a seated position saves it.
And that handoff was very sloppy. Marquette got really lucky there.
It's Hare. Ronsick is on Hare. Another drive, and again, the foul whistle. And it's been Mackenzie Hare doing her thing here towards the end.
And Mogensen and Carlin were battling for position down low, and I know Hare wanted to get it to number 32, but she just couldn't get a good passing lane. And Carlin started to screen out the defense, and Carlin should have continued drop stepping and using that momentum to seal off that defense. And free throws are crucial down this stretch.
She has made 7 of 10. That's saved inbounds by break, and Creighton trails by 1, has possession. Hare has the last 5 points for Marquette, 15 on the night. Mogensen for Jensen for the lead. Too strong, and it's Carlin on the glass.
Great box out by Liza Carlin to get that up the floor.
Hare against 2 defenders. Carlin open.
She is money from 18 feet, and that's one thing Coach Flannery said is we have to stop that 18-footer, and that just electrified the crowd, Josh. The Al McGuire Center is going nuts.
Whistle, though. We've got a foul against Marquette.
I think that was going to go on Jordan King.
Yeah, Carlin, I believe.
Carlin, okay.
Yep, 1:55 to go. That's her 4th.
Yeah, they were both in that area. And again, Kenzie Hare almost got stuck in there, kept her composure to find the open Carlin.
Each team with 3 fouls in the 4th, so not in the bonus yet. But remember, Carlin playing with 4 fouls.
Oh, they left Ronsick wide open, and Jensen missed her.
Shot clock at 10. We got a 3-second violation. Boy, you will rarely see that called, but it's a turnover against Creighton.
Excellent job by the official to spot. Emma Ronsick camped in the paint. Rose Nkumu was on her and slipped, and Ronsick never stepped out to reestablish herself. What a tough break for Marquette.
Our official Cameron Inouye is the one who spotted it. 95 seconds left. King lets it fly. That's a 2 for Jordan King, and a 5-point lead for Marquette.
I have been waiting for number 23 to step up and hit that big shot. A little shake and bake and a jumper. Beautiful time for that 2-pointer from Jordan King.
5 points in a row by Marquette. And this, the 11th point of the night for 5-year senior Jordan King.
Saturday night, the biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big-time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays 2-headed monster of Shireman and Colbrelli. That's why they like him. Alabama, Creighton. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
If you have a curious mind and a compassionate heart,
with the support of a community behind you and beside you,
you can be a change maker.
This is the place where you can find your light.
And shine it for all the world to see. Whatever you do best will help you do it justice. At Creighton University.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
Mom! Yeah! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
This game was tied with 3.5 minutes left, but 5 consecutive points scored by Marquette. First, you had a Carlin jumper. Then you had a King jump shot. All of a sudden, a 5-point lead for Coach Duffy's team.
Well, and Marquette just turned it up a notch. I mean, they're at home. They got a huge crowd here. And you know that this is a big win for either team to open up the Big East Conference.
Creighton trailing by 5 with under 90 seconds to go. Molly being harassed by King, had to give it off. Jensen lets it fly. And it's going back to Marquette off the miss by Laura Jensen. That's a tough shot.
But you know what? We've seen her make those tough shots before, and that's kind of what she lives for, is getting that ball in her hands and making those big plays. But Rose Nkumu's a heck of a defender as well.
Lauren Jensen now 1 of 6 from three-point range tonight. Basket here might very well ice a win for Marquette if they get it. We're in the final minute, and it's Hare. Hare finding Carlin inside. 7-0 run. It's a 7-point lead.
Well, they got the mismatch they were looking for, and that's who you're going to go to. 32 with a hot hand.
Molly unable to hit. Battle for the rebound, out of bounds off of Creighton. And only 42 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they really battled inside, and Lauren Jensen got knocked to the ground, and they're going to take a moment and wipe up the floor. And that gives the opportunity for the teams to go over and talk things over. Actually, I think there was a timeout called by Marquette, right?
Well, actually, they're going to review possession here, which you can do in the closing 2 minutes. Who touched it last? Off the Molly 3-point miss.
Yeah, and she had a little travel there as well that the officials didn't call, but
you look at that shot, I thought maybe Hottinger touched it last, but let's see from underneath the basket. So many hands in there. Is there going to be any conclusive evidence to overturn the call? What do you think?
I'm just glad I'm not an official. I mean, from this angle, the highest hand up there is Hottinger. I think you're right. From that angle, it looks like Hottinger's hand was the highest, and it hit off her last.
Well, the officials taking a long look, as they should. If it remains as called, there's a good look at it. Yeah, I think Hottinger, 20 in yellow.
Oh, but at the same time, from this angle, there's Jensen's hand. Her hand is going from right to left. Oh, there's Jensen's hand right there. I think that's the last one that touches it. So I think there's not enough evidence. I think it's Marquette basketball.
And Marquette, if they keep it, which was the original call, they would inbound in the backcourt leading by 7. This was a tie game with 3.5 minutes remaining. It's been 7-0 ever since. And 4 of those 7 points belong to Liza Carlin, who is now up to 25 on the night. Carlin has made so many big plays. Really, Michelle, from the beginning of the game, she set the tone, and now at the end of the game, she may be helping ice the win.
You know, that's her confidence level. I mean, last year, early on in the season, she would miss some of those easy shots, and it would just kill her confidence. And then her mindset would not be in the right spot. And this year, you know, she's that team leader now. She's really stepped it up.
This was her last basket here.
Look at that nice wide post presence and that little kiss on the finish.
As they continue to look at that out-of-bounds call, the teams are waiting. Marquette is hoping to be 10-0 for the first time in program history. They go back into non-conference. This is just the start of a 3-game homestand for Coach Duffy's team. We got Appalachian State and Bucknell coming up next week.
You know, and those should be games where Coach Duffy can play a lot more of her bench. and give King and Carlin and Kumu and Hare a little bit of rest. But then New Year's Eve, you're in Storrs, Connecticut.
Meanwhile, Creighton, which has the best net ranking of any team in the Big East coming into the week, in large due to those 5 away victories they've had, they're going to continue their road swing.
And UConn's got 2 tough games. They got Marquette at UConn, and then they go into Omaha a couple days later and get Creighton.
They switched the call.
They did.
Michelle,
okay.
They switched it. I guess they saw what we saw first, and that Franny Hottinger had touched it last.
And that's why I'm not an official, and I'm happy to say.
So now, still life, and they take advantage with Emma Ronsick scoring to cut the deficit to 5, and a timeout taken by Coach Flannery.
You know what, and that's okay. Let Emma Ronsick have that layup. Do not challenge her, because if you do challenge her and she makes that, she's, I think, put in every free throw she shot today. I mean, that was a wise play by Carlin to let her go and Hare to kind of back off.
29th point. Emma Ronsick, what a game. Although her team trails by 5, still 39 seconds.
You know what, I guess 29 points from Ronsick doesn't surprise me as much as Mogensen with 19. If you would have told me coming into this game that Mogensen was going to be 8 from 12 from the field and 3 for 5 in 3-pointers, I would have been like, seriously? Coach says that they don't expect her to score. She's not a scorer. Her job is to run the offense and play defense. And 19 points, I mean, that's a heck of a game for her.
Let's talk strategy here. So Marquette inbounding. You take some time and try to get a steal before you foul. Remember, they still need to commit 2 more fouls to put Marquette at the line. There have been only 3 fouls this quarter against Creighton as a team.
I do. I think you challenge the inbound. You try to go for this steal. And if you don't get anything, I do think you foul. And then repeat that same thing. And if you have to put Marquette at the line, put him at the line.
This is a Marquette timeout, so they can advance the basketball here to inbound it from the front court.
Marquette shooting about 78% from free throws. So, I mean, it's a risk, but put him on the line, stop the clock.
Again, Creighton has a foul to give. They went for the steal. They almost got it. Now Nkumu is fouled, and there's the one to give. Brittany Harshaw, redshirt freshman, had come in for Creighton there to give the foul. But again, no free throws out of that one, and that took about 5 seconds off the clock.
Well, and Liza Carlin hitting 83% free throws coming into this game. Rose Nkumu, 81%.
So now the next foul would give free throws. And Nkumu is fouled. Now, Keani Lockett is saying, I wasn't trying to give it. But the official blew his whistle.
And Brittany Harshaw is in there and was in that action as well, trying to stop Nkumu.
I think sometimes towards the end of the game when the official is assuming a foul is going to be given, maybe you blow the whistle before the foul was actually created.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before, but I mean, and Creighton was so close to pushing her to the half-court line.
Nkumu, no problem. 2 for 2 for Nkumu, lead back to 7.
Marquette's got to challenge every shot, box out.
3 by Haran, too strong. There's Mogensen. Offensive rebound, and she earns her way back to the charity stripe here with the clock stopped.
Well, and Liza Carlin was so concerned about Ronsick that nobody boxed out number 21.
And that 5 fouls on Jordan King. Nope, beg your pardon. Not a foul out. And the first free throw for Mogensen just gave her 20.
Now Marquette's got to be expecting a full court press here.
So the deficit cut to 5. There were no foul outs on that one. Full court pressure. Taking a lot of time off is Marquette. Hottinger, Carlin, they can't catch anybody. Finally, Nkumu fouled with only 13 seconds.
Good composure by Marquette to look for the open players down the floor. Hottinger, the senior, wisely giving it up to Carlin. Carlin passing it over to Hare. I mean, just good job by Marquette not to get rattled. And again, senior leadership is really what shows up at end of basketball games.
She's hit 3 in a row, has Nkumu. That time to miss, and a timeout taken as the rebound is grabbed by Ronsick with 12 seconds left. It is a 2-possession game, but it's a 6-point lead for Marquette, which is in great shape.
Yeah, Marquette just needs to play tough defense here, not commit the foul. You want to challenge the shot, but not be overly aggressive, and for sure secure the rebound. You cannot let the Blue Jays get a second chance opportunity off a miss.
That was the final timeout available for Creighton. So they're out of timeouts. This is a full. Keep it right here from the Al McGuire Center. Josh Maurer with Michelle Griffin-Wenzel. And we hope you've enjoyed watching this Big East opener as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. A couple of top 20 teams in the nation, and they've gone toe-to-toe, punch for punch. And it's been Marquette at the end that seems to have thrown the winning punch.
I mean, it's going to be a really exciting Big East Conference if this is how things are going to start, with Creighton and Marquette battling it out. I mean, we know that Villanova's tough. UConn's always tough.
So Creighton will inbound it from the front court. They advance the ball here. And again, let's take a look at strategy. Michelle, is this the time where you have to shoot a three-pointer?
No. I think you go for a quick 2 and you pressure the inbounds and foul if you can't get the steal.
It's Molly on the wing. Molly chucks up a tough 3.
Yeah.
It's an air ball for Molly, and that should do it.
Yeah, she took too much time there. And that's not who I would want shooting the ball. I mean, Morgan Molly, only 4 points. She's 2 for 13 from the field.
It's going to be reviewed to see whether or not that shot was deflected by the Marquette defender.
Coach Flannery right away was all over that and turned to the official, and he's like, come on, you know, he obviously saw something there.
It's King who challenged.
No, and I don't think it was tipped. I mean, that thing had no spin on it whatsoever, and Molly just kind of chucked it up there. Again, that's not the person I'm giving the ball to. I'm looking for Lauren Jensen, Mogensen, Ronsick. I think Jensen may have been inbounding the ball, but I mean, you've got a player who's 8 for 12 with 21 points, and Molly Mogensen, and Emma Ronsick 9 for 16 with 29 points.
And the officials say no touch.
No, I mean, you can totally tell Jordan King's fingers do not bend, and that ball had no spin on it whatsoever. It didn't change direction. It didn't change rotation.
Well, they got one call overturned on an out of bounds in the final minute, but not this time. And only 7 seconds left. Marquette's going to use a timeout. They'll advance the ball, leading by 6. They've still got 1 remaining if they need it.
Well, Creighton's just got to deny. You know, it's hard to get 6 points in 6.7 seconds, but crazier things have happened.
Especially when you're starting those 6.7 seconds on defense.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, Marquette had the early advantage. They went up 11 early in the second quarter. Creighton came back, took the lead. They led for a lot of the third, but it's been Marquette down the stretch. They lead by 6. Inbounds. Here's Carlin, and Creighton will wave the white flag. And for the first time ever, Marquette is 10-0 to start a season. What a Big East opener we just saw tonight in Milwaukee. 6-point win for the Golden Eagles. And for head coach Megan Duffy, the phenomenal start to the campaign continues. They're 1-0 in Big East play. Coming up, we'll be back and be joined by the star of the game for the Golden Eagles, senior Liza Carlin. 76-70. Marquette pulls it out. Post-game coverage is coming up.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Mom! So I love
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Yeah.
What a win for Marquette to begin the Big East schedule and improve to 10-0. The 19th ranked Golden Eagles beat the 20th ranked Creighton Blue Jays by 6. And they were led by senior Liza Carlin. A double-double tonight. About 25 points and 12 rebounds. Liza joins us. What was that game like to play in?
Even before the season started, we knew they were going to be a really, really solid threat. They've been playing together forever, and we knew we had to do all the little things to chip away at them, and it was pretty even all game, so we knew it was going to come down to the last couple of minutes and every single possession.
You know, Marquette's off to its best start ever. What is so special about this year's team?
I just think how connected we are as a team, 1 through 12. We all have relationships with each other, and our seniors, we've been playing together for a long time, so we're kind of bringing all the new guys along, which has been really good for us.
Liza, you mentioned that the game would probably come down to the final minutes. It did. You're tied with about 3.5 minutes left, and then 7 in a row your team scored. You had a couple of those buckets. Take me through the last 3 minutes of the game or so, and what made the difference? What were the winning plays that you guys needed to execute?
Yeah, one of our biggest keys going into this game was toughness. We call it Marquette toughness, but basically just being extremely solid every single possession, executing our plays offensively and defensively. We knew we were going to have shots. It was just a matter of moving the ball and knocking them down with confidence.
Yeah, excellent job. You need to go celebrate with your teammates because this is a big win to open up the Big East Conference.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Liza.
Thank you. Thanks.
Big double-double for Marquette's senior and a 76-70 win to go to 10-0 on the year. Michelle, enjoyed it. Great being with you here tonight.
It was excellent. Thanks, Josh.
For our entire Big East Digital Network crew here on Flow Sports, and producer Kevin Brelenton, for Michelle Griffin-Wenzel, I'm Josh Maurer. 76-70 Marquette gets the win to open Big East play.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Saturday night, the biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. It's an SEC Big East showdown as Alabama and Creighton square off. Mark Sears leads the Crimson Tide. Big time maneuver. Against the 8th-ranked Blue Jays two-headed monster of Shireman